Part 2 of making the magnetic chuck. I have got the molybdenum magnets, or as we will call them from now on, angry magnets. Very strong. They're so strong and so angry that if they touch each other they just smash themselves to pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount them on this chuck with these pieces of steel. Yeah, with these pieces of steel between them, and I'm going to arrange them like that: magnet, steel, magnet, steel, magnet, steel. I'm going to glue them all on with epoxy. Hopefully the epoxy will hold them. They're pretty well stuck to the base plate as they are, so I think a bit of epoxy will just keep them in place. I have hit them with the grinder underneath and on the sides, and I've kind of shaped them like a shape, like a bit like a pyramid, so the epoxy will grab and they won't lift. Hopefully the epoxy will stand the heat of the grinder, of the metal that's on it. So what I'm going to do is tack weld all these in place, and then I'm going to bang the magnets in, and it's mounted. What I did, I just tack welded these strips of steel, which are them, on the edge, and cleaned it off, and then I put some tape down the side, and I flooded it all with epoxy, and then put the molybdenum magnets, or the angry magnets, in, and I left a little gap down the side of each one. Maybe it's like a piece of thin cardboard gap, so that I could put some epoxy down there, and it's worked out okay so far. It's pretty strong actually. It's pretty good chuck. The steel is proud of the magnets by about 1.5 mil, and I've left it so because the magnets have given the steel some magnetism anyway. There is some actual magnetism on the steel, but I need to sort of marry these up now with the contact wheel. So I need to run the actual chuck along the contact wheel and take off the high spots on this metalwork, which will nicely flatten that out, so therefore any steel that goes on in the future will be perfectly flat with the contact wheel. So I'm going to take these out, but I'm not going to take them all the way down to the actual magnets, because I don't want the steel touching these magnets if I can help it, because they are very aggressive, and there's more than enough force on them now to hold the knife, to stop that knife moving. So I'm going to take another mill off anyway, and I'll see how it is. I've put a handle on that as well. I've just bolted a little handle onto there so I can actually pull it up and down, and I'm going to mount it all on the grinder now, chaps. I'll give everything a coat of black paint, because I will no doubt, as this steel heats up that's on this, I will no doubt be spraying it with misting to keep it cool. So the way I mounted the actual chassis of this thing onto the grinder, I had a spare tool arm here, which was one of the old black iron ones, the mild steel drone, and I've just located it into the actual round wheel tool arm with 2M8 bolts there, and that allows it to move in and out. And what I've also done on this side, I didn't want the chassis sort of flexing. I mounted it on and looked at it, and there wasn't really a lot of flex in it. Gave it a good pull and there was maybe 1 mil of movement, and I thought on the actual chuck there's probably, you know, there's not going to be much weight on the chuck. But anyway, what I did, I put this extra support arm which supports this side of the chassis, and that just runs along the bench, and it stops the whole chassis twisting down if you apply a lot of force. You cannot really apply a lot of force on these wheels anyway. You're just kissing the wheel with the chuck. I've not actually fired this up yet, guys, so I am going to do it now. The only one change I'm going to make is where I adjust the chuck up and down there. I'm going to put a spider handle on there for crosses, so I can just adjust it with my foot. As I'm doing that, I can just knock it round with my foot and adjust the chuck, the magnetic chuck, up and down. Fire it up, see what happens. Put an old 40 grip belt on, a worn one, so it's not too aggressive. See how we go. Quite pleased with that, guys. So let's put something on it. A bit of mild steel. Ever such a slight ridging, if you can see that. That's a 60 grit belt, that. I'm going to test it on the gauge now and see what we've got. The acid test, eh? .76 mil. 7.77 mil, 76 mil. How about that, fellas? And the surface grinder works! Okay, so I've just realised what's causing them little bumps in the steel. Catch a go at this. It is the plating wheel, it is not, or the grinding wheel, it is not perfectly true. See that? There. We have a little egg there. That should be fairly easy to get out now. There. Just in case you're wondering what the main purpose of this was for, it is for when I'm making Damascus, when I'm forging blades out on the anvil, when they've come off the anvil, you can imagine, on both sides. Now to dress each side of that piece of steel, or the blade on here, means holding it against the plating. And you can get one side pretty good, flat and straight. It takes you some time, but you can do it. Now the problem comes when you want that steel to be perfectly parallel, because a bit of pressure at the top on the other side, a bit of pressure on the bottom, and you end up with an ever so slight wedge shape on its length or a wedge shape on its width, and it's very, very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get it to that accuracy, to dead, you know, to whatever that was then. To achieve that, I have done it, but I have had to do it on here, then I've had to literally spend hours, maybe 3-4 hours with sandpaper by hand, just adjusting, lifting the front edge up slightly, checking it with the calipers, adjusting. That, you can see, it's going to make my life so much easier. Oh guys, it's taken me a day to build it. It would maybe take me a day to dress 2 pieces of steel like that. How much time is this going to save? Well, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. I have another big project I'm working on at the moment, and that is a forging press. And I'm going to build a 25 to 30 ton forging press with a fast action. It's going to be 1 inch of squashiness per second, which will be heavenly if you've seen my old press. If you want notifications of future projects, you see the little bell next to the like button. Click the bell and it will tell you when I put another video up. Or subscribe and like, and I'll see you soon, fellas. Bye for now.